what we are doing tonight is I have been getting a lot of questions about salvaging. So I figured we would do a tutorial from beginning to end on what you need, what to look for, and basically how to salvage, all the little ins and outs of it. It's not actually all that difficult, and it's probably one of the easiest low-key ways to make money in this game. It really is. First things first, you're going to need a ship. Right now, I'm standing in front of the Vulture, and the Vulture and the Reclaimer are the only two ships right now that can do salvaging. The Vulture is only available through a pledge on the Robert Space Industries Star Citizen website. It is running $175 for the game package. Worth it if you have the money to spend. Otherwise, you have the Reclaimer available at New Deal on Lorville for 15 mil. There's a third way you can salvage by hand, but I don't recommend it because it's a pain in the ass, so we're not going to cover that. But let's take a look at the Vulture, kind of get a little tour around the whole thing and check it out and see what's up. The Vulture is probably going to be the #1 way to solo salvage in this game, and as I mentioned, it does cost real money right now. Supposedly, and you'll hear this a lot in Star Citizen, supposedly we're going to be able to rent this thing come the 320 drop, but I'll believe it when I see it. So let's take a tour of the Vulture real quick. We've got your ramp access, back door. So we've got your Vulture. This is where your cargo stays, as you can see. You can get in from the back, or you can get in from the front by using this ladder. Once you get up here, you just run up to the door. You can either just open it and walk in, or you can open and enter the pilot seat, and it will automatically pull the arm up and put you in. Fires up and gets started just like any other ship. Now on the Vulture, from the cockpit, you have a couple of different places that you can run. You've got a spare bed, where you can have a partner sit down and hang out while you're running cargo. And then you go back through the next set of doors and you come to this ladder, and this will get you down to the back cargo area. In this cargo area, you have basically your refinery for your materials that you gather, and this fancy little machine here. You have two tabs. You have cargo and create. You can create a multi-tool. It costs 0.89 SCUs, so basically a crate. And the true hold attachment to move the crates around costs 0.2 SCUs, so about a quarter of a crate. They take literal seconds to make, and they pop out of this little hatch right here. And once it's attached, it'll light up blue, and you're good to go. So with your multi-tool equipped, you can attach these boxes anywhere you need them to go. The tie-down area is only 12 squares large. You can fit two crates stacked one on top of the other on the walkway on the side here. Your total space in the back is easily 20 crates, even though the ship says it only holds 12. You can easily hold 20. You can fit up to 24. I've seen people fit 27, but that gets sketchy. To find a salvage contract, you want to pull up your mobi-glass and go to your contracts manager. Now, the salvages are all separated out by claims. Each one is going to cost a different amount of money. They're going to range anywhere from 50,000 for the Caterpillar all the way down to something tiny like 5,000 for an Eclipse. It just depends on the size of the ship and the potential for cargo inside the ship. We are going to grab a Cutlass. They're 20K. Once you accept it, it will be deducted from your in-game money, and you want to make sure that you track it so you know where you're headed. It'll give you the location, but it won't give you the exact location. For instance, this one is in Crew L5. This other one is in Mike L3. You want to pull up your star map. You see your salvage claim, set your route, and get on your way. When you arrive to your point, 9 times out of 10, it will be at a Lagrange point, which is out in the middle of nowhere. Those are Crew L5, Mike L3, Arc L1, places like that. and they're always in a dust cloud like this. When you pull up your quantum drive, you're going to notice 2 points. There's going to be the primary, and then there's going to be an alpha. You will always stop about 30,000 kilometers out and have to continue your jump to your salvage point. And whether you jump to the alpha point or your salvage, it doesn't matter. They're both going to be right there. All of these salvages are going to have a space station nearby, and that's good to know because sometimes you'll need to go and re-up on your quantum fuel, or you'll need to go grab some kind of supplies. So get an idea of where those are by looking for the red lights or the circles. Be careful because there are asteroids out here and you may run into one and explode. So just pay attention. As you approach your salvage, objective complete will pop up telling you that you got in the right area. Give it a second and your marker will show back up. One thing you do want to be careful of is going too fast. The Vulture and the Reclaimer both suffer from not being able to slow down fast enough. So at first, you're probably going to overshoot your claim a couple of times. Don't worry about it. It's not going anywhere. You're not on a time limit. At about 2,000 meters out, I typically start slowing down. And even if it takes me a full 5 minutes to get there, that's fine. At least I'm not running into my salvage. And we have arrived. Now, the salvage claim ships are not going to be in 100% health. They're going to look all busted, just like this. That's fine. It's not a game glitch. It's not a problem. One thing you want to do, take a look at the ship. If you're not familiar with the ships and which ones have a cargo hold and which ones don't, fly around it a little bit. Take a look. See if you can identify some kind of cargo hold. I like to align myself with one of the side doors. Get above or below it. In this case, we're going to go below. Hit F4 to get an outside view. And I like to fly up underneath it a little bit. Ships with a cargo hold can sometimes have additional cargo inside. The ones I've most commonly found cargo in are the caterpillars, the hammerheads, and the cutlass. We're going to grab our multi-tool. We're going to shuffle some things out of our way. And we're going to open her up. And we're going to go take a peek inside. All the doors are still functional on these salvage claims. You can open and close them however you want. And the insides are typically in pristine condition, but you can't salvage any of that, so we're not going to worry about it. This is a perfect example of the kind of crates that you'll find inside. One thing you do want to make sure that you do is reclose those doors when you're done with them. They will block you from being able to salvage all this material from behind them. All right, we're going to head back to our ship. We're going to pull these puppies inside. There we go. All right, so you've already checked inside. You've pulled out whatever crates you have in there. You've got them stored in the back. Now it's as easy as just back up and get ready. You want to position either on the top side looking down or on the bottom side looking up. I usually like to start on the top. There's typically a lot more meat. One tip is to turn your throttle down. It does not need to be all the way up. Matter of fact, the lower, the easier it is going to be to control. To pull the salvage attachments out on the Vulture, you're going to hit the M key. It's going to change your heads up display to look like what we have here. You're going to have your different salvaging heads on the right-hand side and the left-hand side, and it's going to show you distance to target down at the bottom. Now you have two different salvage heads on the Vulture. You have the cinch scraper module and the abrade scraper module. I recommend using the cinch scraper module because you'll be able to fill more boxes than you would with the larger diameter. Now, this salvage cost us 20,000 credits, so we need to clear at least 3 full boxes of material to start turning a profit on this one. We've already got 2 boxes out of the back, but we're not going to count those. Left mouse click to get your beams going. G turns on the gimbal. The gimbal allows you to move your heads independently of the ship. With the gimbal off, when I move my mouse, the whole ship moves. With the gimbal on, that allows me to move those heads independently of the ship. You can still move your ship with the strafe, WASD, the pitch and roll with Q and E, and you can still strafe up and down with control and space. If you see a red square, you're not getting any material out of that. It's a waste of time. Move on. On the bottom of your screen, you're going to notice two circles that have a percentage and a line in the middle. Now, what that line in the middle is the distance of the beams from each other and how they're oriented. By default, they're at 0 and horizontal. So we're going to hit left alt, mouse wheel up to spread those beams out. We can spread them out to a full meter from each other or bring them all the way back in to 0. I recommend about 0.07 seems to be the most optimal distance for both horizontal and vertical. With the gimbal on and horizontal, just start sweeping the material. Watching the material, you'll see how some of it starts to glow and deteriorate. That's how you know you're gathering stuff. The cargo bar on the left is the one you want to keep an eye on. Once that gets full, it'll pop up and identify it, and you'll want to stop salvaging and wait for that to finish. Let's give you an example. Boom, filler station ejecting. What this is telling me is that it's creating an entire crate of material and ejecting it in the processing facility in the back of the ship. We want to wait for this to stop. Anything you salvage while filler station ejecting is up does not count. We're trying to optimize as much material as we can off of this ship. Once that's done, it'll pop it out. We can start collecting up another box. I find that about 18 meters out is one of the better distances for salvaging on the Vulture. One thing you notice as you're salvaging a ship is that some components pop up as red. Certain things like weapons and cargo doors cannot be salvaged. So they'll pop up red. Your beams may shut off. Just ignore them. Move on to another spot. As we're about to fill up our second crate, we're going to see a different notification pop up. Filler station obstructed. When you see this, don't panic. Just pop out of your seat. You don't have to turn anything off. You don't have to move anything. Just hop out. Make sure you've got your multi-tool pulled up. Head on to the back. Once we get to the back, we'll see we have one crate ejected and we have one more still sitting in there. Once you've got that crate, you can either stack it on the tie-down pad or you can stuff it over here on the side. We're going to use the wall and the roof to keep it nice and straight, keep things organized back here. Once you've got that first crate stacked, head on over to the button, push eject, and it'll pop out that second crate. Keep an eye on the very top of your screen. You'll see a bar that says remaining salvage. Once that bar is gone, contract is complete. You should be good to move on and grab another contract from there. I can usually pull at least one more crate off of whatever I'm salvaging once that bar is gone. Now, once it says contract complete, you can move on to the next contract if you'd like. But like I said, I can usually get at least one more crate out of the vehicle before I'm done. All right, so you've got your salvage done. You've got your crates. Now what? Now you go sell them. Salvage crates can only be sold at TDD centers. Those are located on your main planets like Crusader, ArcCore, Microtech, Hurston. So you want to pull up your star map, see which one's the closest. We are currently at Crew L5, so our closest one is going to be Crusader. Once you've arrived at your planet, find the home port for Crusader. It will be Orison. Be careful as you're flying into port because you have additional weight on your Vulture now. It will handle differently. Last thing you want to do is put in all that work only to end up exploding. So now that you've landed, what you're going to want to find is the Trade and Development Division, or TDD. Every main station on every primary planet has one. Once you get down to the spaceport, I do recommend going ahead and storing your ship. The last thing you want is a 30K and losing all that cargo once you've landed. It doesn't happen often. Sometimes you'll get it back. Most times you do, but there's always that chance. Every trade and development division, every TDD is going to have this emblem out front. So look for that. And you're going to head inside and you're going to look for one of these screens. This might look familiar. You may have seen it at admin stations and other places throughout the star system, but it has to be at a TDD for you to sell what you've salvaged off of those ships. For select an inventory, you're going to select your ship. In this case, it's the Vulture, and it'll pull up everything that's in that back cargo area. It's only counting 10 because we only filled out 10 slots on the tie down section of the back cargo room. But we have a total of 12 recycled material crates and 2 additional crates of random that we found in the back of that cutlass. Go ahead and slide all the way, sell them like you would any other commodity. So there you have it. You've done your first salvage, you've made some money, and you've realized how easy it is to actually make money while salvaging. If you have any questions or anything else, I'm live every Tuesday through Saturday over on Twitch. Feel free to pop in and ask whatever questions you've got. And if you have any other suggestions on videos you'd like to see, go ahead and leave it down in the comments. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us out and helps us be able to do this more. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you on the next one. Look at that. I'm all fancy in my business attire too.